Hi guys, and welcome to another video. So today I'm going to be doing another video game themed video where I'll be ranking my Assassin's Creed protagonists. So yes, I did an Assassin's Creed video a while back with my Assassin's Creed game ranking, all 11 games, and it did really well. It got over 1,400 views, 48 likes I believe, and it got loads of comments too, so thank you all to everyone who watched, liked and commented on that video. That meant the world. I mean, I had no idea it would do that well. That was just like a little side video, and I had no idea it would be one of my best performing videos this year. So thank you all to everyone who watched that video. So I thought I'd do another Assassin's Creed themed video today, since Assassin's Creed Valhalla is coming out in November. So I thought in prelude to that, I will now do another ranking video where I will rank all 11 Assassin's Creed protagonists from all the 11 games. I will not be including games like, obviously the smaller games like Assassin's Creed Liberation with Aveline. She won't be in this list. But yeah, I'm looking forward to this. I've ranked all 11 main protagonists. It was really hard to do because there's so many protagonists on this list that I really like. I didn't dislike any of the Assassin's Creed protagonists, so this was a difficult list to grade. I think they're all good in their own way, but obviously I've got my favourites. So yeah. Here we go. We'll go from my least favourite all the way to my favourite. So like I did with the Assassin's Creed main games. So yeah. So at number 11, I have Alexios from Assassin's Creed Odyssey. Sorry Alexios. As much as I like Assassin's Creed Odyssey, he's just, yeah. I feel like I had to include him because I didn't even play as Alexios in my run through of Assassin's Creed Odyssey. I played as Cassandra, who I think is by far the better character. But yeah, since Alexios is an option to play as one of the main protagonists for Odyssey, I had to include him. But he's at number 11 because I never even played as him, and plus I've seen like walkthroughs of people playing with him, and he's just his voice is so monotone and dull, and I just can't imagine playing as that for like 100 hours as him. So I think he's much better as the side character, as Deimos with the Cult of Kosmos, when you play as Cassandra as the main character, who I think is voice acted much better by the actress who voices Cassandra. I think she's much better. So yeah, sorry Alexios. As a main protagonist, he's my last, even though I never played as him, but just from what I saw, he looked so dull. And I just think Cassandra's by far the better voiced protagonist. So I think Alexios is much better as that side villain, as Deimos in the main story. I think he fits that much better than as the main character. So sorry Alexios. I'm sure if I actually did a full run through with Odyssey as Alexios, I probably would like him a bit more, but just for that reason, I'm sorry Alexios, because I never played as him fully. I think, yeah, sorry Alexios, you're last on my list, sorry. Then at number 10, I have Altair. Yes, the assassin which kickstarted it all with Assassin's Creed. Yeah, and he's number 10 on my list because I just found Altair so boring and dull and monotone. Obviously from his first game, when he was so boring, man. I mean, I know a lot of people have Altair a bit higher in their lists, but for me personally, I just found him so dull and boring. In his first game, he had that really weird American monotone accent in Assassin's Creed, which I didn't quite understand. It was like, what? That's not even. But then, obviously, when he got the flashback sequences in Assassin's Creed Revelations, which fleshed out his character more, I think that was a bit better because that was in his native accent, which was a lot better. But I just think by then it was a bit too late, and yeah. For me, Altair, sadly, is my second least favourite. He's at number 10, sadly. Even though we did get a lot, we did flesh out his character a little bit more with Assassin's Creed Revelations, which I think, which we did get a lot better scenes with him, but just based on how dull he was in the first game, sorry Altair, he just didn't do anything for me, sadly. So, but we do own the fact that he was the very first assassin in the entire series, so he does have that. But yeah, sorry Altair, you're number 10, buddy, sorry. Then at number 9, I have Arno Dorian. Yes, from Assassin's Creed Unity. And yeah, poor Arno, man. I feel like he had so much promise, so much potential, Arno. I really liked him at the beginning of Unity. He's funny, he's naughty, he's cheeky. And he's like a naughty, just a cheeky guy, flirting with ladies, cheeky, messing around with other guys. He kind of reminded me of how Ezio was in the beginning of Assassin's Creed 2. But then as soon as Arno becomes an assassin, his personality just goes, and then he's just this dull assassin for the rest of the game, really, who's just in this love affair with Elise, and it just for me, I liked him a lot better at the beginning of the game. I felt like his character just went flattened out completely the minute he became an assassin, and he was quite dull. And it's a shame, because I think Arno had a lot of potential, and I quite like Arno. But yeah, and obviously how bad Assassin's Creed Unity was didn't help either. But I did like how they did flesh out his character a bit more in Dead Kings, in the DLC for Unity, but by then it was just a bit too late. So yeah, sorry Arno, just for how dull he was as an assassin. He's number 9, sadly. So yeah, sorry Arno. Although I would have liked to have seen a second game with Arno, because I think he would have benefited from a second game to flesh out his character more, and him as an assassin more, but it wasn't to be, sadly, yeah. And then at number 8, I have Connor Kenway, yes, from Assassin's Creed 3. And yeah, I've got nothing against Connor. I know a lot of people have Connor as last in their list because he's so short-spoken, he's humorless, he's so dull, he very rarely smiles or laughs in Assassin's Creed 3. But I like Connor. I liked him like that because that's what he was like, as a Native American, avenging his mother's death. His village got burnt down. Basically, he joins the American Brotherhood. He rebuilds the American Brotherhood with Achilles, and I liked him. I really liked him. I liked the homestead missions where he builds his community in America. I love that. It shows a nicer side to him. And I just like him as this stoic, honourable warrior. And I think it suited his character a lot. So I don't get a lot of the hate Connor gets just because he was quite humorless and short-spoken, because I think that fitted his character, because that's what he was, a Native American. And obviously, he was nowhere near as likeable as Haytham, who you play as in the beginning of Assassin's Creed 3. But yeah, as the main assassin protagonist, I quite like Connor. He's number 8 though, because I feel like obviously the next 7 protagonists were more interesting than Connor. But personally, I liked Connor, and I did feel sad we didn't get a sequel with him. I would have liked to have seen a sequel with Connor just to flesh out his character more, just like Arno. But at least we got the tyranny of the George Washington DLC, which I thought was pretty cool too. Like the alternate reality. Yeah. And then at number 7, I have Shay Patrick Cormac. Yes, from Assassin's Creed Rogue. Yes, the assassin who turned into the Templar. And I like Shay, personally. I think he's a very riveting protagonist. I really like his story. He's a very conflicted character. How he starts off with the assassins, but then his faith in the Brotherhood is shook. And then he goes and joins the Templars. And I liked just the journey of his character, how he starts hunting down the assassins. But the game and his character progression makes you see, there's two sides to a story. Maybe the Templars aren't as evil as you think, and maybe the assassins aren't quite as good as you think. There's two sides to every story. And I liked Shay. I think he was a good protagonist. The Shay only problem is that Assassin's Creed Rogue is quite a short game. You can beat it in 6 to 8 hours. It's not like a full length Assassin's Creed game. It just got released as an Xbox 360 and PS3 counterpart to Unity, which came out on next gen. But yeah, I liked Shay, and I liked how they tried to include him in Assassin's Creed Unity, in the story. When he kills Arno's dad, and and that's the last we see of him. I really thought he should have been the main villain in Assassin's Creed Unity, because he killed Arno's dad. He should have been the Master Templar, the main bad guy in Unity that Arno goes up against. That would have been a really cool way to tie in both games, Unity and Rogue, but it wasn't to be. But yeah, I liked Shay, and I think he was a very solid protagonist, yeah. It made us look at the Assassins and the Templars in a different way. So yeah, cool. Thanks Shay. And then at number 6, I have Jacob Frye, yes, from Assassin's Creed Syndicate. Yes, Jacob Frye, who I actually have a little statue of, yes, when I bought the Charing Cross edition of Assassin's Creed Syndicate all those years ago. And yes, he's been in my room ever since, yes. Jacob Frye, yeah. So, yeah, I really like Jacob. He's like a cocky, arrogant, reckless guy who just does whatever he wants in Assassin's Creed Syndicate. He's much more reckless than Evie, his sister. He's much more brawl, counter-punching, where Evie's much more stealthy. And yeah, I liked Jacob. I thought he was a really cool protagonist. He was like I said, a cocky Englishman who just does whatever he wants, and it's up to Evie to pick up the pieces and clean up after him. I really like that about his character. I think he's just a bit lower than Evie, my list personally though, because I just think at times he was a little bit unlikable, where he just does whatever he wants. He's quite selfish, and I think that's not the right attitude for an assassin. But it was like Victorian London, and I just guess they wanted to go for a cocky Englishman. But he does mature a bit throughout the game, and he does have some serious moments, of course, with some serious assassination moments. But yeah, Jacob Frye, I really liked him. And yeah, number 6 is a very solid slot, yeah. Woo! Number 5, well, obviously, yes, I have his sister, Evie Frye, who I probably did prefer just a little bit more. Yes, Evie Frye, obviously, so the Frye twins from Assassin's Creed Syndicate. Yeah, Evie is at number 5. I liked Evie, you know, she's much more considerate than Jacob. She handles things much more seriously, she's much more stealthy, she's like the more pure assassin. She respects the assassin ways, where Jacob's just like an arrogant dick at times. But he still does obviously follow the creed too. But yeah, I really like Evie. I think she's a great protagonist. She was obviously the first proper like female protagonist in the mainstream Assassin's Creed games, if you don't count Aveline from Liberation. But yeah, and I really liked her. I thought she was a great protagonist. And of course, we do, even though she just gets sidelined a little bit to Jacob in Syndicate, we do continue playing as her in the Jack the Ripper DLC, which I think was really cool. So yeah, I really liked Evie. And yet the Frye twins were a pair of very solid protagonists from Assassin's Creed Syndicate. And yeah, and just like I said, it sucks we never got a sequel of them either. Okay then, and on to my top 4 assassins. Yes, here we go. So at number 4, I have Bayek of Siwa. Yes, from Assassin's Creed Origins. Yeah, Bayek was awesome. I really like Bayek, the ancient Medjay warrior. The Medjay were like an ancient tribal of warriors back from ancient Egypt who guard the populace and help the realms and all that. This is obviously before he became an assassin, well, before the Assassin's Creed Brotherhood. But yeah, I really like Bayek. You know, he's stoic, he's honourable, he's a really nice guy. He always fights honourably. But I love the story too of him avenging his son's death. Obviously him and Aya, who was the other kind of playable in Origins, but nowhere near as much as Bayek. And I just loved exploring ancient Egypt with him. And I think he's a very good protagonist, Bayek. And of course, he's so important in the lore of Assassin's Creed 2 because he is the assassin, which, you know, forms the Brotherhood as we knew it. He's the one who forms it. We will be a brotherhood, we will be a brotherhood for the people. What was that? We will be an assassin's creed. We will form a creed for the people. We will fight in the shadows. What is that accent? Anyway, you get the gist. But I love that scene in Origins. And yeah, he's such an important assassin in the lore of all the games because he forms the Brotherhood with Aya. So yeah, and I love Bayek. And like I said, it just sucks we didn't get a sequel with him. All these great characters, and we only get one game with them. Then boom, on to the next character in the next game, which is getting continued with Valhalla with Ivor, who's coming up in November. So yeah, to my top. Then on to number 3, I have Cassandra. Oh yes, the Mystios, the Eagle Bearer. Yes, good old Cassandra. So yeah, sorry Alexios. Alexios is my last number 11, but I loved Cassandra. I think she was great. I loved her whole journey in Odyssey, how much she goes through, how much she does, you know, getting such a big reputation as the Mystios, the Eagle Bearer, just doing all these contracts, obviously hunting down the Cult of Cosmos, the Order of Ancients, and everything she went through in the trials with the first civilization, going to Elysium, the Underworld, and Atlantis, just everything she did. I love her. I love the character. She's funny, she's witty, she's smart, she's a fierce warrior, and obviously she wasn't even an assassin. Don't forget, she's not an assassin for this, because obviously Odyssey was set 300 years before Origins. So yeah, she's not an assassin, but the game sets up, you know, order and chaos, which will eventually turn out to be assassins and the Templars. So yeah, I like how that's set up, and obviously Cassandra was a big part of that. So she still is important to the lore, to all those idiots. So she's not an assassin, she doesn't count and all that. But I loved Cassandra. I think she's such a good voice actress, and I just think she was much better than Alexios, who, like I said, was last. But yeah, go Cassandra. She's easily the best female protagonist we've had in Assassin's Creed yet, definitely, yeah. And then on to my number 2. I think you all know who these two are. Yes, I have, at number 2, I have Edward Kenway. Yes, Connor's granddad from Assassin's Creed 4, Black Flag. Yeah, Edward's fantastic. I loved Edward. He was just such a massive step up from everyone who hated Connor, saying he had no personality. But yeah, we got Edward, who had so much personality. He was great. Yes, playing as the pirate. He was just such a reckless dick for 2/3 of Assassin's Creed Black Flag until he joins the Brotherhood near the end. But for most of the campaign, he just does what he wants. He's after his own personal gain to get loads of money and glory and loot. He's only in it for himself, really. And that starts to reflect more and more throughout the game until he joins the Brotherhood and he reflects on how much of a dick he's been. And I just think the character progression for Edward in Black Flag's great. I loved his character so much. And yeah, and how he becomes a good man towards the end and joins the Brotherhood and defends them against the Templars. I loved Edward. Just having having the Jackdaw Adewale as your first mate. Yeah, I think Edward Kenway is one of the best protagonists yet. It's why he's number 2. I really like Edward Kenway. And yeah, I will say this again, it sucks that we never got a sequel with Edward. Yeah, there's so many protagonists who I would have loved to have got a sequel with. Like Arno, Connor, the Frye twins, Bayek, Cassandra, Edward. You know, these were great protagonists who we only got one game with, and it sucks. I would have loved to have seen a sequel with Edward. And yeah, it just sucks when you read into the lore, like how he got killed off too. Like basically he gets killed off by the Templars in London, he gets stabbed in the back. I'm like, oh, it just sucks to see. He was such a good character and he gets killed off in such a crap way if you read the expanded lore. But yeah, but it was cool when you get to go and see his house in Syndicate. But yeah, I loved Edward. Such a good protagonist. And he was, yeah, I liked him a lot more than Hatham and Connor. Edward Kenway is easily the best of the Kenways, yeah. And then at number 1, I think you all know who I've got as number 1. Yes, I have Ezio Auditore da Firenze. Of course, it's going to be Ezio. I think Ezio isn't everyone's number 1, or at least number 2 slot, 1 and 2. It's either Edward or Ezio for most people. But for me, it's got to be Ezio. Even though his last game was, 9 years ago now, we all still love Ezio. He's still in our hearts as our favourite assassin. Of course, the only assassin in the entire series to get 3 games. Of course, Assassin's Creed 2, Brotherhood and Revelations. All the other assassins only got 1 game. But yeah, we love Edward. We love Ezio so much. Just how he starts out in Assassin's Creed 2 as a young man who wants to avenge his family, join the Brotherhood. Then he just seeing how his journey from a young assassin, reckless assassin, to being a master assassin in Brotherhood, to like being the mentor assassin in Revelations, trying to find out the library of Masyaf, the keys of Masyaf, and the secrets of Altair. He's just such a good protagonist. I loved Ezio so much. And like I said, people loved him so much when he got introduced in Assassin's Creed 2 because he was such a big step up from Altair. You know, he had personality. And yeah, I love Ezio so much. And yeah, it's still to this day when he said goodbye in Revelations, you know, to Desmond and technically kind of to us, the players. It was such a sad farewell. And yeah, I don't think anyone's matched up to Ezio since. Even though we still have had some very close runners up, you know, with Edward, Cassandra, Bayek, the Frye twins. They've all come close, but but no one can knock off Ezio off that top perch. For me and many other Assassin's Creed players, he is the top assassin. And the top assassin, and the best protagonist in Assassin's Creed still, to this day. So yeah, guys, that was my list. That was my ranking of all 11 protagonists from the Assassin's Creed series. Of course, Valhalla is coming out in just a few months' time. We will see where Ivor fits in with that list. Of course, you can play as a female or male version of Ivor. I'll probably play as the male version because I think that's more aesthetic to the Vikings, isn't it? And we will see. From what I've seen of the playthrough so far, Ivor looks like a pretty cool protagonist. And I think he's probably going to be in the top 5 somewhere, hopefully. And yeah, I'm looking forward to playing Valhalla. So yeah, guys, what are your thoughts on my list? Comment below, let me know. Like, comment, subscribe, and thank you for watching, guys. And yeah, I will see you all very soon.